Hi guys, welcome back to another episode, the actual final episode of Season 3. It is the season in review. At the moment we're starting it with everything that's going on in the world of FIFA around our club. So at the moment we're just going to have the leagues in the background so you can see where your team is and where they finished and how they got on this season and all that good stuff. You can just pause it when you see your team. But as for us, we had an absolutely amazing season. But before we get into all that, I would just like to welcome you back to 1920 Gaming, and of course back to the manager's journey. And again, I'd just like to thank you for just taking a bit of time out of your busy day to just sit back and watch this. So our season, like I says, it was amazing. From pre-season all the way through to the final game, it was just one belter after another. We were pushed all the way by QPR, which made it a lot more fun. But yeah, in the very beginning, we'd done pre-season. It was a lot more settled a pre-season than it was the one before. We absolutely stormed through it. We'd already got a system. We got the players in the right positions within that system, and it was just a case of building on that through the rest of the season and strengthening the weaker areas, whereas last season we were in a bit of a mess, trying to figure out how we were going to get everyone in, trying to get the system to work and this, that and the other. So yeah, pre-season was much more organised and much better than the season before. After pre-season, we set goals. One of them was to make better use of the first 10 games of the season. So obviously that was going to be the one that we wanted to achieve first. And this was because the season before, we were still trying to figure things out during the start of the competitive season. And that gave, ultimately, I think, Portsmouth the gap that they needed to build on. I think had we started as strong as we did this season, we probably would have gone up, maybe even in first last season, but it wasn't to be. So we set that as a goal, and most definitely we achieved it. We won 9 of the first 10 games, and again, jumping back to last season, we were unbeaten at home last season all the way through, which was obviously something that I wanted to carry on this season. We weren't undefeated, but we did have a really strong home season again, which was good to see. So with us being unbeaten at home last season, obviously the thing that let us down was our away form, which was another goal that I set. Was to improve the away form, and we again most definitely achieved that. In the cups, I wanted to do better this season, and in the Carabao Cup this season we reached round 4, and again we lost to bloody Spurs. But that's further than we've got in that competition before. And then we moved to the FA Cup, where we got all the way to the semi-finals, which was way beyond anything that I ever thought was going to be able to happen. Unfortunately, if you saw that episode, we lost in extra time to Sheffield United 2-1, which I felt pretty confident we would win that game, but unfortunately it just wasn't to be. And then, of course, I turned around and said, because we didn't go up this season, that I wanted to actually go out and not just go up, but win the league this season. And we managed to do that, which was really pleasing. Again, even more pleasing after being pushed all the way till the very end by QPR. Now, obviously, winning the league, we'll move on to the squad next. And like I say, winning the league tells you that the squad is pretty damn good this season. We've had to rotate a lot as competitions have got in the way of certain things and this, that and the other. And every single player that was bought in, that was on the fringes, when they were rotated and bought in, they performed really well. A couple of standouts. We had young Harris right at the very end of the season, got promoted from the youth academy, and he scored an absolutely vital goal in the leasing.com trophy final, which actually took us to the penalty shootout, which we would then go on and win. Which brings me to Brown, who is our keeper. He's almost as good statistically now as Nicholson. He was brought in because we had to train someone and had to play them in certain games. But in that very same final, what an absolutely heroic effort from him in the penalty shootout of said final. Saved 4 out of the 5 penalties, which was just unbelievable, and he enabled us at that point to go on and lift the trophy. Harrison's had a brilliant season. Every time I see him to play him, he's done well. He's scored hat-tricks on numerous occasions. He's got a ton of assists. He's played all across the front three wherever he's been needed, and he's made an impact every single time, so it's been a really positive breakout season for him. Giles has pinned down the left back role. He's really grown this season and has been absolutely vital. But having said that, when we've needed Williams and we've called upon him, he's done a brilliant job as well. And we did need to improve defence this season, which we did with bringing in Tamori and Fosu Mensah, and they've settled in really well. We have conceded a few goals this season, but that's more down to the system than the individuals. We've played a lot more on the front foot this season. We've played higher up the pitch this season, which were all things that we've been trying to do, but now we've got to a point where the squad's able to do so with the personnel that we've got. In defence, McKeith's been brilliant this season, and he's also now proving to be a threat on corners and set pieces as well, which is something we've not had before. So that's another dimension that's been added to our game. He scored a couple of vital headers this season. Midfield, we've been struggling a bit in midfield because the first season we had a lot of dependable players in the middle of the park, and then through sales we had like Sinclair and players like that, and through sales and almost retirements, declining players and such, we had to completely reshape the midfield. Kinsella's done well. Garcia was brought in to dominate the midfield area, sitting and just screening the defence, which is something he's done really well. And then there's Morgan, who's been playing next to him. What do you say about that guy? I've said from season 1 he's going to be a special player, and he most certainly has been. He's got 30 plus goals this season, a ton of assists as well, and just towards the end of the season we've started improving his defence, so he can come back and help as well. But our midfield has improved no end. To get like 30, mid-30s, maybe 40 goals from centre midfield is absolutely crazy. And then the wingers that we've got as well, Moreno, Ito, Lorenzi, all these guys. We've got Ridicam Sober. Yeah, we've been really blessed and stacked in that area. They've all contributed. And then we've got our strikers and our centre attack midfield. Again, Hardy's had an absolutely brilliant season. He's had to be dropped from the first team because he did go for about a month or so where he was really struggling. As same with Lavery, and in the end we ended up having to get rid of Lavery. Now going back from the beginning of the career and last season to drop that many goals and that many assists out of the team was something that actually really worried me. But Gomez and Lecco that we got in January have just come in and they've just fit right in. We've not lost any of the assists or any of the goals from either position, and we've been able to add them from other positions. So yeah, so far I would say the club, our first 11 and our bench and fringe players, we're in a really healthy position at the moment. It does remain to be seen whether that's going to be the case next season as we take up yet another step in quality. For those who have been watching the leagues as we go through, Portsmouth, that dominated last season, have only picked up 1 win all season. And we really struggled against Portsmouth last season, so it looks like it's going to be a challenge to go up, but I think we're probably in a much better and stronger position than Portsmouth actually were last season. Only time will tell with that one. We finished the season as a club with money still left over in the bank as well, which is healthy. There's been some really good young promising players come through the youth academy again. So yeah, if I had to say, I could confidently say that the club is in a really healthy position moving forward. These now, what you can see behind us is what I was talking about with Morgan's season and Gomez as well. Gomez has played 26 games, got 19 goals. Morgan's played 35 and he's got 31 from centre midfield. I mean, that is just absolutely insane. We've got Ito there as well. 15 goals in 34 games was that. I didn't catch it in time. But yeah, the club's in a really healthy state. Next season is going to be a struggle to see where we're actually going to improve. Because I am really happy with the squad where it is. We may need to just add a striker for when Lecco doesn't play. We don't know if that's for us to worry about next season. But this has most definitely been my favourite season to play. Absolutely no doubt about it. Like I say, the pressure that was on every single game because of QPR being so unrelenting was enormous. It's been so competitive. It's just been a whole heap of fun, basically. And I'm looking forward to next season. Now what we're just doing now is we're just going to have a look down the players' stats. As I would normally say, if there's anyone you want to look at in more depth, then just pause the video and it should be fine. So yeah, I enjoyed this season. It's been my favourite season ever, not just in FIFA 20 but in FIFA in general. I can't ever remember having such a good competitive season, such a good title race with the II. It's been really, really fun to do, and I am looking forward to next season a lot. So I think that pretty much does cover everything. There was one point where we was looking through the club's objectives and we almost faced the sack at one point. We've gone down to like a 69 manager rating or something, but we've managed to turn that around, thankfully. So yeah, again, like I say, I think that does pretty much cover everything, guys. We've got a few objectives left from the club that we can't complete until next season. So yeah, we will have a look at those in a bit more detail in just a second. But yeah, on these players, Morgan has definitely been my player of the season. You may have your own thoughts on that. To be honest, I can't look past him. Ito we're still going to try probably and get rid of next season. But this guy, he's played 48 games, 37 goals, 17 assists. He's been an absolute tank for us. He's been captain on occasion, just purely out of his performances. He has been absolutely brilliant for us. And now them objectives that I was on about, we've completed what we can of the youth one. We have no control over brand exposure. Continental success, there's nothing we can do there. We completed the domestic success and we failed miserably on the financial one. But that is gonna do it for this video, guys. I hope you've enjoyed it. We'll just look forward to next season now. So once again, thank you for taking the time out of your day to watch this. It's much appreciated. If you did like, please leave the like and subscribe, guys, and I will catch you all in the next one. Have a good day. Bye bye.